Browns 35-14 losers here in New Orleans. This was a game that was tied at 14 going into the fourth quarter, and then the Saints opened things up. Now, offensively, the Browns, Jameis Winston threw for nearly 400 yards, 395 yards. Jerry Jeudy had a big day. They were making big plays, but Mary Kay, what it came down to is this defense once again giving up huge plays to really an unsurprising guy, Taysom Hill, who you know the Saints are going to turn to. You know they're going to feed the football, and Taysom Hill killed the Browns today.
He really, really did. Taysom Hill had 3 touchdowns off direct snaps, touchdown runs, including one with 2:26 left in the game, a 75-yarder. You would think that after the first 2, a 10-yarder and a 33-yarder a little earlier in the game, that you would be ready for something like that. But it was a great game plan by Darren Rizzi, the interim head coach of these New Orleans Saints, to go out there and to use Taysom Hill like that. Boy, was it effective. The Browns had no answer for it whatsoever, and they were not able to play complementary football. Jameis played his heart out. As you mentioned, almost 400 yards. He was slinging it all over the place, and he stayed interception free. And yet they come away from here with a horrible loss, really.
Even more frustrating, Denzel Ward had a big game today. He finally got an interception. He's dropped 5 of them coming into this game. He forced a fumble on Taysom Hill when the Saints were driving, but even that wasn't enough. There were blown coverages, just kind of all those things on the defensive side, beyond just not being able to stop Taysom Hill, just all the things we've seen from this defense all season long.
Yeah, it was really a poor defensive performance, and you could see afterwards when we talked to Myles Garrett and some of the other guys, they were really, really upset. In fact, when I talked to Grant Delpit, he said, we beat ourselves. We did this to ourselves. He wouldn't even give Taysom Hill the credit that he probably deserved for those 3 touchdowns. He basically said it was our poor tackling. We've got to find a way to do a better job. But of course, we've been hearing that over and over and over.
Okay, now it wasn't just the defense. Dustin Hopkins, who has struggled this season, he had a difficult day as well, including at the end of the half or near the end of the half when he missed a kick. There was a holding call, and then he missed the maul again. It was a difficult day for Dustin Hopkins. He's very process-driven. He talked about it a little bit after the game. He thinks maybe he figured something out at halftime. Maybe he's going to fix it, but we aren't going to know until Thursday night. And Mary Kate, it's just the story of this season. All of these things you thought you could count on, you thought you could bank on, and Dustin Hopkins was one of them. But again, another bad day for him.
It really was. And he was golden last year, including from 50 plus when he was 8 for 8 last year. Now he's 4 of 8 on 50 plus, and obviously missing 3 kicks, all wide left today. And it's just not what you can have in what could have ended up being a tight game if you start to have some things go your way. So really unfortunate, and I don't know where they're going to go with this one.
Well, they're going to have to figure it out quickly because they have to turn around and play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday. Now, the good news is the Steelers played Baltimore today. They did win that game, but we know that's always a tough physical game. That's an emotional victory for the Steelers. Maybe there's a little bit of a hangover leading into that quick turnaround. The Browns do get to host this game, but this is going to be a very difficult challenge for this football team, although maybe a positive that they kind of get to turn the page quickly.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Every time we think one thing or another lately, it just doesn't seem to be working out the way the Browns hope that it will. They were coming off of the bye today, and they had resolve, and they were determined that they were going to get things fixed and change things around, and that didn't happen either. And I think it's going to be a really tough game to face those Pittsburgh Steelers who, I mean, they've got AFC North crown on the line here. So they are going to be really coming in, bringing their A game for sure. I also want to mention real quick that Dawand Jones is lost for the season to a fractured ankle, lower leg. I'm not sure what bone it is really, but he is going to undergo surgery. He is out for the season. That's too bad.
Yeah, we obviously with Dawand getting hurt on that play when Wyatt Teller rolls up on his ankle, and the Browns already shorthanded. Jed Wills was not active today dealing with that knee injury, and of course with that quick turnaround, that makes it more difficult. Of course, TJ Watt tends to rush from the left side, so he'd be going against Jack Conklin, but still, you have to account for TJ on one side, and that kind of has a domino effect all the way across. And if it's Jermaine Afidi out there, with the way these Steelers love to get after it, it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, it really is. They will attack any weakness that they see out there, and if Jed's not ready to be back, that's going to be a tall order for Jermaine Afidi having to go against these guys. So, because they don't usually switch TJ around, But I mean, you never know. They'll send somebody and try to attack a weakness if they can.
Yeah, maybe having Jermaine Ifedi over there would change that strategy a little bit. We'll see. The Browns don't have a lot of time to figure it out. We will cover everything that happened here in New Orleans and leading up to that game against Pittsburgh on Thursday night at cleveland.com/Browns.